You're listening to The Fatboy Show on your number one station, RX Radio. And today's show is going to be hot. Why? Because I have something very special in store for you. In fact, I'm going to just go ahead and introduce our guest today who's going to make today's show super special. Keko joins us on The Fatboy Show today. Hi, Keko.
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Good to see you.
You too.
You're looking great.
Thank you.
Love the new look, the new style.
You really?
Yeah.
I actually thought you were gonna give me a little slack for that.
No, it's been a while since we last met, and we've both changed.
Yes, you have lost a lot of weight.
I have, haven't I?
Yes, you have.
A little bit or a lot?
I think a lot.
Yeah,
It should be a good thing, right?
For some people, although in Uganda, they like to say that if you're too small, they think you have a problem.
Yeah.
So much better when you're bigger. People think you're healthier or you're doing well, or that you're happy.
That's working for me so far.
Oh, so is that what you say? Say, hey, life is good. Can't you see?
You have money. I'm eating too much.
Wow.
I suppose.
But it's been great, just following you because I know that you've been abroad.
Yes.
You spent some time overseas.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure what that did for your career.
Yeah.
Because prior to that, last I recall, you were just killing it on the airwaves. Your songs were just being loved by everybody. Your music videos were phenomenal.
Yeah.
The ciphers you participated in, you were literally owning those songs. Mm-hmm. So you left at a time when you had peaked. So maybe is that
so.
Wait, is that the wrong picture?
I think that's the wrong picture because I had peaked and then I signed to Sony.
Yeah.
And then, kind of went down from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
things were not going really well for me at the time.
Okay, so tell us about that journey because we know, you in a way came out of the blue.
Yeah.
We'd never heard of you before, and all of a sudden there was this girl that was just killing it and slaying it, and you just had this groove and style and energy that up until that point had never been seen. Mm-hmm. And I would argue not even since have we seen such energy. You brought so much competition to the game. You had the boys sweating.
Yeah.
Right? And you collaborated with a number of other local artists to the point where really you kind of became a household name in the mid to late 2000s.
Yeah.
And then now you say, well, that then opened the door to an opportunity with Sony.
Yeah.
So tell us how that happened.
So I'm performing in Kid Goom, and it's just a regular show. We just go out there to make some money. Mm-hmm. And then I get a call from one of the A&Rs at Sony. They're like, we want to sign you. Mm-hmm. But make sure you don't tell anybody. This is confidential. Keep it confidential. Don't tell anybody. But in my head, I'm like, are you kidding me? I have to tell somebody at least.
Uh-huh.
I have to tell my producer, Just Jose at the time. And I told him about it, but he wasn't happy about it. He was like, I don't think it's the right move at the time.
Why would it not be? For most people, that would sound like a dream come true.
Up. Yeah,
isn't it what everyone aspires for, to be signed by a major label like Sony? This being the label that had Michael Jackson signed to it.
Whitney Houston, all my idols.
Mariah, who wouldn't want to be signed to Sony?
Thank you.
So what was his deal? Why didn't he like the idea?
I don't know. I think he thought it was a fake. It was a fake. Maybe he thought it wasn't
the
real
true.
Sony. He was like, at least if it was Sony BMG, but I'm like, BMG dissolved. Like it doesn't exist anymore. This is the kind of structure they have nowadays. I mean, everyone is signed. Even Davido is signed to Sony. But at the time, I guess he was a little short-sighted. And it kind of affected me because I was used to working with him on all the big songs that I released. And so going to South Africa without him was kind of hard. Working was very different for me at the time. Because I was introduced to Angolan producers.
Okay, so the deal required you to relocate to South Africa?
No, not necessarily. I was going down there to record and shoot music videos.
Okay.
Yeah, and would have helped if he came along because we had established our own sound at the time.
Okay. Yeah. And then, so what happened to that conversation about the deal? I mean, did it go through? Did you actually sign?
Yeah, I did. Actually, I took my time about it. It was a bummer. It was kind of like a Debbie Downer when he told me, I don't think it's a good idea. But it took me about a month or two to make that decision. Mm. And then when I finally made the decision, I was like, I waited for him. I was like, actually, I reached a point where I was like, I'm not gonna sign. We're gonna open our own label or whatever. But that wasn't going forward. So I just woke up one morning, signed the paperwork, and sent it back to South Africa, and the rest is history.
So are you able to tell us what was contained in the deal or in the contract? Because I'm here curious, wondering what a deal from Sony looks like. So what was on paper?
Oh, just to round it off, it was a 360 deal, which I heard is never a good idea.
I hear those are terrible.
I heard, but at the time I didn't know. I was young. I was like,
360 means essentially every earning.
Every management, they were handling the management, the distribution, and everything.
The shows,
else.
the concerts,
yeah,
merchandising.
Yeah.
Every penny earned through you being a musician, they own. That's what a 360 deal is.
Kind of is, looks like. At the time I didn't mind, but because I thought we were going to make it and there was no way wasn't going to work.
Is it similar to how in America they give advances to artists that are signed?
No, there was not. I wish there was an advance. There was no advance.
Okay.
So I didn't owe them any money, thankfully. That's why after they released my album, I was able to walk away from the deal.
And maybe you can walk us through the process. Now, having decided that you're going to sign the deal, and your producer was not, and longtime collaborator was not on board with that.
Yeah.
Did that now mean you had to work with a whole, like new crop of people?
Yes, absolutely. The A&Rs were like, they had found me a duo. Mm-hmm. They were called the Varna Heights. They're from Angola. They were like, these are the guys who are going to produce your album. So everything that's going to go on the album has to come from these guys.
Okay, so, and had you heard of them before?
Never.
And so when you sat down and said, hey, okay, play me a beat.
I was okay. I was like, we can work this, we can tweak here and there. It wasn't like just Jose was the bomb. Like, I'm even giving him too much props, but like when we hit the studio, we knew we were coming out with a hit. That's how it felt like.
Did he produce This Is How We Do It?
Yeah, he did.
Wow.
Awesome. Even Make You Dance as well.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's the king.
Yeah, he was. We worked well together. He was the Timberland to my Missy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Right. So now you're here collaborating with these Angolan producers. Do you feel like they understood your vibe and your sound, what you were going for?
Not really. I don't even think they were in touch with what was going on. They were more into, I don't know, the sound, like an Angolan sound. I don't know, it's called Kapuka or something. Their sound was just different. It wasn't even on the continent at the time. And I just had to pick whatever beats I could pick from whatever they had played me.
Okay, and to whom was Sony aiming to market your music to?
African market. They were looking at the African market.
Now, if we're to just wind back the clock to that era, like mid to late 2000s, when you look at how African music was, this is when Nigerian music was really in ascendance, wasn't it? The likes of the Dibanjes and, I don't think many of today's big names were even in the business by then, or if so,
maybe
they were just starting.
I think me and Davido kind of started around the same time.
Okay.
Blew up.
So obviously, Sony must have decided that, hey, there's potential here. We need to get in early.
I think that's what they were looking at.
And so they were scouting around for talent across the continent, and they identified you.
Yeah, and they were looking to market it on the continent because the sound was picking up. People were picking up on the sound.
Okay, so how many tracks did you produce with these guys?
I produced about maybe 15, but we released 10 plus a remix of one of the tracks. Yeah, that was pretty much it. It was a very short album. It's called Strides. That's a Sony album. Like, you can't redistribute it. You can't do anything with it. It's just like a picture.
They own the masters?
I think they do. I don't care.
That's apparently a big thing now.
Like, I don't even care. I got to a point where I don't care.
So the album is done and you're listening to these songs. Did you feel like the album captured your true essence? Was it you on that album?
In a sense it did, but not. I don't think it covered every angle because I like to try different sounds, and these guys were a little one-dimensional with their production.
Okay.
So I think it kind of scratched the surface.
So the album drops. It's released in
2017. Yeah.
What kind of a push did it get?
None. That's exactly the point. None. They just gave me the links to the album, and then that's it.
Hang on, I thought the point of being signed to a label is that they put money behind its promotion.
Exactly. Well, they did not. I'm telling you, it was the most
they'd
grueling
make sure
5 years.
they shoot expensive, fancy videos and put them on rotation on all
They shot 3 and didn't really push them as much. I think they were also kind of green with it because they were just signing new artists. It was their first time to sign like African artists and not South African. So I think maybe they were also trying to get familiar with the market.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so then what happened? Like, did it just...
They just dropped the link and that was it. No physical copies, which I wanted. But then everyone is like, there's no CDs anymore. But yeah, there are CDs and vinyl.
Yeah, and for a rapper, I know vinyl's a big deal, right?
Yeah, you need all of those avenues covered when you're releasing an album. But they were only looking at the DSPs and whatnot.
And what's happening on your side? Are you feeling were you putting them under any pressure?
A lot.
Were you on their case? Like, yo, dudes, what's going on?
A lot. I mean, I recorded the album in a year, but it took them 5 years to release.
Can you imagine? How do you sit on an album,
for 5 years?
Urban album for 5 years? Trends change.
They change, exactly.
Sounds change.
As soon as you record the song today, like how we were working before with Jose,
yeah,
we record the song today, it's out tomorrow, because that's what's hot at the time.
Yeah,
it sounds like it sounds like the time.
Yeah,
but then they sat on that album for 5 years. When they finally released it, I didn't care much for it.
Were you under any obligation to do any promotions for it?
No, I didn't see the need to. I didn't find the need.
Well, I mean, it's heartbreaking because for many artists, having a major release is like a high point in their life.
Yeah.
It's kind of where your dreams start to come true, and from there you're just looking at even greater heights. And
exactly.
Yet for you, it sounds as though you feel it sort of was a dud, that it just died. It was dead on arrival. Is that
kind of? I felt like maybe I was being signed to shelf. Like when they sign you to shelf you.
Because why? To prevent you from being competition?
Maybe there was competition in South Africa with like this artist called Toya DeLazy, who was kind of had a similar style.
So that's
physical appearance style. Maybe that was it. That was one of the thoughts that were running through my head. I was having a lot of us. Actually went through a depression because of it.
And was it a 1-album deal?
It was a 5-album deal.
5-album deal.
But if it took them 5 years to release one, I told them,
my goodness, you'd be 50 by the time
it's gonna take them 25 years to release all the material. So I told them, nah, I'm good.
Okay, so you had a very, I guess, the way things ended wasn't very good.
Yeah, could have been better.
You had a not so amicable divorce, and then from there,
irreconcilable differences.
Did you feel like you still wanted to do music?
I wanted to take a break. I felt like it had taken a toll on me mentally and physically.
By now, this is when? This is
2017.
2017.
So they released it I think the late 2016. 2017, I was on a plane to Canada.
Is there a reason for that? Did you feel like you couldn't come back to, like, did you feel like you wanted to leave it all behind, Uganda, everything?
I just needed a break. I just needed a break from all of it because, like I said, it had taken a toll on me and I was not even being creative at the time. It was hard for me to get, those creative juices flowing as they used to. So I thought with a break, maybe that would help.
Well, what was your feeling about, your fans? I'm sure who are always asking you, yo, what's up? What's up? Where are you? What's going on?
Yeah.
Did you feel like you betrayed them by sort of taking that break, or did you feel like they should understand that?
No, I think I felt like they should understand because I had just dropped that material. Should have been able to keep them going for a couple of maybe a year or two.
Mm-hmm.
10 tracks. Yeah, we could have dropped one by one each month. And maybe like every after 3 months.
So
it was enough. I felt like it was enough at the time.
Were there any thoughts going through your mind about, hey, maybe I don't want to do music anymore, or maybe should I consider doing other things? Did you find yourself thinking about the future?
Yeah.
Outside of music?
Yes, I was thinking about film. I was thinking about getting into film production because I've always wanted to be a director. So when the opportunity presented itself, I took it because how many people get to study at Toronto Film School?
Yeah.
Very few. So I was like, maybe I should try this. Maybe the love will come back along the way.
Okay, so you go to Canada.
Yeah.
And you were at Toronto Film School.
Yeah.
To learn filmmaking.
Film production, yeah.
And film production.
Yeah.
And how did that go?
It went well, actually. It was an interesting time. It was an exciting time in my life. It was a much needed break from the music. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I felt like I was enjoying myself again. And I was inspired, motivated, which was a good thing.
Were you exposing yourself to different musical influences? Were you hanging out among the, music people over there?
Nah.
Were you going to the clubs?
Not as much. The hip hop scene was kind of weird. The new artists were sounding really strange to me. And that's the popular sound there. The ones that rap offbeat.
So you're right. And sort of trap music was kind of by then the rage. And still is.
Yeah.
Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on who you ask.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Meaning you probably found that the hip hop industry as it was at the time no longer felt like home for you. You felt like, did you feel like you could still have a voice in this new hip hop paradigm?
Absolutely.
Even while trap is reigning the charts and trap seems to be the preferred style, did you feel like you could ride that wave also?
Yeah, I mean the time when Crunk was on, that's when This Is How We Do It came out, and that was not too far off from trap music. The song was ahead of its time, but of course I could ride the wave, like they say, if I wanted.
So you got into the whole mumble thing?
Not the not the mumble. I don't even know how to mumble. I think you have to be extremely high.
Right?
Yeah.
So, speaking of which, obviously in this long period of absence from Uganda, there's been a lot of speculation about how you're faring, how you're doing.
Yeah.
And I do recall a time where I think you might have appeared on an Instagram. Was it an Instagram live?
Yeah, it was my Instagram live.
And, it seemed like you weren't having a very nice day, to put it lightly.
I was having too much of a good day, actually.
Okay. All right, then.
It kind of went to the left.
So everyone was like, yo, is she okay?
Yeah.
Is she all right? Is she?
Apparently, yeah.
So, and to a lot of people who hadn't seen you for such a long time, obviously, and it happens to me too. When people meet me after not having met me for a long time, they also think, dude, what's happening? Because I'm a lot smaller than they recall.
Yeah.
Whereas for you, you seemed, you just seemed like you had a whole different vibe. You were a little...
I was off the edge a little. I was very off the edge.
Right. So they just sensed a different energy from you. So it had them worried. How did you feel about that? Because, some of the bloggers weren't very kind about that.
I knew they were going to talk crazy when I started to go off the rails a bit, because it all started innocently. I was just like, let me just try and get drink champs and you know that podcast, right?
Yeah.
And just, vibe with guys online while I drink. But then it kind of just drank too much, and I've just been apologizing to my fans who saw me like that, because it probably wasn't such a good thing for them to see me in that light. They have never seen me like that. But there was nothing wrong with me. I was just drunk.
Okay, which is normal. A lot of people find themselves in that situation, though maybe they won't do Instagram lives.
Yeah, they wouldn't do a live about it.
People were... I saw calls for you to be repatriated back. Like, hey, let's someone bring her back. Let's bring her back.
Oh, wow.
She's suffering there. She's
my God.
And yet you were just having one of those days.
I was just having one of those days.
Okay, so obviously that created a lot of curiosity about you. Did you feel like, all right, now they're paying attention, let's see what to do about this?
Yeah, I was looking for clout.
And you got the clout.
I got the clout.
So what did you do with that? Did you say, all right, now I'm working on a new album, coming soon?
I wish I had something coming, but I didn't. I actually wanted to come back home 2019, but that did not happen. The COVID hit and everything hit a snag.
Yeah.
But after I graduated, I wanted to come back. If that had not happened, I would have been back sooner.
Okay.
And that would never have happened, because that was COVID stress as well.
So you eventually did come back.
Yeah.
And I know that was always in your plans, but tell us about that journey of saying, hey, it's time to come back home.
Yeah.
What was that like, the thought process?
I felt like though I had achieved what I had wanted to achieve in Canada after I graduated film school. And I did not see myself trying to establish myself as an artist there because of the way things work over there, you know, and age was not on my side, especially if you're going to like labels and stuff. I was like, I'm already established back home, might as well just move back home and, you know, hustle it out and see how that goes. So when I was able to fund my ticket, I was working a 9-to-5 actually at a shareholder company.
Oh no, you're lying.
I'm
Come
serious.
on. You're a rapper. Come on, you're supposed to be hustling and wheeling and dealing.
I know. I was working at a shareholder company.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you were reporting to work and sitting at a computer
every day.
Wow.
I think that's why I got so fat. I was making good money and I was just eating, drinking, having a good time.
Enjoying life.
But then it got old fast because I was like, there's got to be more to life than just going to work and spending money on the weekend. So I was like, you know what? I left some unfinished business in Uganda. Let me go back and, you know, get my, reclaim my spot in the industry.
And so you landed back in Uganda when?
September 19th, 2023.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, did you find a whole new Uganda waiting for you? You've been away for a long time.
Not really. Actually, everything seemed the same. The streets seemed the same. The whole vibe is the same. I was just glad to be back because I'd missed the whole ambiance and atmosphere.
Wow.
But the industry, there were some new cats, but nothing too serious, nothing I'd be afraid of.
To be honest, no one filled your spot. Like, essentially, you left it vacant, you came back, found it vacant.
Which sucks. I was expecting more competition.
I don't know why, but especially among female musicians, there's been they're leaning more into the sensual, sort of sexy side of things.
Right.
And we're not really seeing a lot of MCs and rappers from that space. And I really don't know why. I don't know if it's because Ugandans are maybe we're very kinky people. We just prefer to see half-naked ladies dancing around stage.
Well, it's a universal thing, I think.
Singing about the basic things. And that's a fair point. I mean, even, I guess, internationally, even the black in America, the rappers there, the female rappers
they all
there.
have that Foxy Brown, Lil Kim vibe.
Yeah, and they've cranked it up to an 11, haven't they?
Oh, wow. Yes, they have.
So, but here, it's like, for some reason, they're not even trying. They just left that space alone. And so, there you are. You've come back and you're seeing that there's not been much progress in terms of female hip-hop and really hip-hop generally, if I may be frank with you. If I may be frank. Even hip-hop generally. So, when you looked around and saw how the music scene was, did you think there was still space for someone like you?
Yeah, absolutely. I was glad partly that there was still a gap that's not been filled or still available, and that it was my job to fill that space and occupy that space. I was extremely glad because I was imagining like crazy competition coming back, but then there was one of them that they were telling me about, and I was like, oh, but then I'm like, I'm glad she raps in Uganda. Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
And obviously, as soon as you set foot back here, I'm sure everyone was like, yo, get back.
Yeah.
Do something.
Yeah.
So, are you in touch once again with your former producer?
He does something totally different now. He does ticketing. I haven't got in touch with him.
He does what?
Ticketing with Cricket.
Oh, okay.
He works with Cricket. I think he's one of the main guys at Cricket.
All right, so he too got a 9-to-5.
Yeah, he also got a 9-to-5. He was like, music doesn't pay.
Yeah, because
blah, blah.
you were the DiCaprio to his Scorsese. you were his muse.
Yes, I was.
And once you just disappeared, I guess he saw no reason to keep doing it.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. We should actually, if he ever watches this, get back, hit me up.
Yeah.
Let's work.
Good
Let's
idea.
make that magic.
So, what's your feeling on it all? What do you want to do next musically? Are there particular people you want to collaborate with? Are there certain styles you want to try? Because I'm not yet familiar with what you've been doing in the time that you've been back. I did see you performing at the recent Azawi show.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, that was the first time they saw you back on stage in years. Right?
Yes, yeah.
Have you been on stage on any other occasion recently?
No, not
So
recently.
it was just that one.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, wow. So I'm just seeing a lot of love being directed at you from the music fraternity, from just fans generally. They definitely want you back.
Yeah.
So.
And I can't wait to perform for them as well.
All right. Now, obviously, it takes us to the next question. In terms of the material you are going to be releasing. So what's the story there? Are there producers you're looking at? Are you still looking around?
I'll be working with my old acquaintances like Andy Music. If Jose is game, I'm game. Benin, I want to get him back in studio as well. There are some new producers that are introducing me to Banker Boy at Swangs. They say he has an interesting sound. And then they're just new kids that are actually making some really amazing work that I'd like to experiment with.
Cool.
But I want it to sound, I want a mainstream hit. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to beat my old records. That's my focus right now.
And you obviously have always had an ear for what would be a mainstream hit, because who would have ever guessed, even back then, in the early part of your career, that there was even room for a female rapper to come up with a hit song that would blow up the airwaves. Because typically, and this is something, many conversations I've had with rappers, they'll come to you and be like, yo, can you play my song? I released a new song. And like you listen to it and the song is just, let's just say, too hard.
Yeah.
Like it's just rah, 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 full of chanting, not very melodically interesting.
It's not radio friendly.
It's not radio friendly, to put it
a radio song.
bluntly. Yeah. And then the song is like 15 minutes long. You're like, dude,
we're not playing that.
There's nothing we can do for you here.
Yeah.
Whereas for you, your songs just cut across. Like they appeal to hip hop fans, to ordinary music fans, to just pop music fans. It just clicked so easily.
I try as much as I can to, because my idols growing up were pop singers: Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, Sade.
Sade?
Wow, Sade. So when I'm writing a chorus, it has to be melodic. Hopefully I still have my voice.
That's another thing.
I sing all my choruses.
True.
So I try and make it as radio friendly as possible. No cursing for songs that I want to promote mainstream. That way it's easier to get them into rotation.
So what will you say about your haters who would essentially just be like, yo, just get out of the game. Your time came and went.
Oh, yeah.
You're an old lady now.
Yeah.
Just stay in the background and be quiet.
I'll tell them even Jay-Z still raps and tours whenever he can. There's no such thing as old lady. And I'm still very young. And I'm still going to be here. And I'm still going to make music.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What about personal life? Obviously, the older we get, people look at us and say, yo.
When are you?
Yep. They ask you those big questions. When are you getting married? When are you having kids?
So, oh, man.
I'm sure you've received your fair share of such annoying questions.
Yeah, well, those are really big questions. I never really think about it. I still think I'm young. I feel like a kid still. Honestly, like, imagine taking care of another kid. You know, that's a big responsibility. I don't think I'm ready for that right now.
Do you believe it's one of those things where it's not for everyone?
Yeah, I don't think it's for everyone.
Like if it's for you, good. But if it ain't for you, don't force yourself.
Yeah,
don't force it.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm taking my time with that. Like, it's not a priority.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I guess, what would be your sort of final word to your fans and to the people out there who are happy to have you back?
Yeah.
They're happy to hear that you're back in the game. what can they expect to see from you in the near and distant future? Where can they find your material? Where can they stay in touch with you? Are you on social media?
Yeah, I am. I just want to thank the fans who have been following my career from the beginning and who have been following me on Instagram and Twitter every time my account is deleted. Because after that incident, my account got deleted.
Did it?
Again, yeah. Wow. Because people reported the account. So I'm on Instagram at KekoTown1 and on X, Twitter at KekoTown. Very, very early stages. We need as many numbers as we can get. And you can find my music on all online stores. The album Strides is on all online stores. It has like a skull and green and purple, I think, on the cover. I didn't want to put my face on that album. That's how much I resented them.
What now? You know what? In protest, I have to go and listen to this song, this album. I have to go find it.
Yeah,
and listen to it.
Yeah. Just give it a chance. There's some songs over
because
there
I feel like you're putting it down more than you need to.
Yeah,
you're making it sound like
it has a lot of radio, because they like a lot of radio songs.
Yeah.
The Sony people.
Yeah.
They all about that. You have to make radio songs, kind of thing. So the album has a lot of those melodic, cut across type songs that would have gone far given the right push, but that did not happen.
And not 5 years later.
Because by the time it came out, I was over it. Yeah. So thank you for listening to the music. Check me out on all those socials. I'll be recording music. As soon as I get out of here, I'm hitting studio. And expect more hot stuff from Keko.
All right. Well, looking forward to it.
Yeah,
well, I want to thank you so much, Keko, for joining us here on the Fatboy Show today.
Thank you for having me. It's
been
pleasure.
an honor. And I hope, in future, when you release more material, you'll be back with us here to tell us more about it.
Absolutely.
Cool?
Yeah.
All right.
I got you.
Well, do keep listening to your number one station, RX Radio. This is the Fatboy Show.
RX Radio.